If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men to gather wood, divide the work, and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. A goal without a plan is just a wish. He who bears in his heart a cathedral to be built is already victorious. He who seeks to become sexton of a finished cathedral is already defeated. Perfection is achieved, not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. Make your life a dream, and a dream a reality. Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction. The time for action is now. It's never too late to do something. As for the future, your task is not to foresee it, but to enable it. And now here is my secret, a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Of course I'll hurt you. Of course you'll hurt me. Of course we will hurt each other. But this is the very condition of existence. To become spring means accepting the risk of winter. To become presence means accepting the risk of absence. It is the time you have wasted for your rose that makes your rose so important. What makes the desert beautiful, said the little prince, is that somewhere it hides a well. Every person that comes into our life comes for a reason. Some come to learn, and others come to teach. You become responsible, forever, for what you have tamed. What saves a man is to take a step, then another step. But if you tame me, then we shall need each other. To me, you will be unique in all the world. To you, I shall be unique in all the world. But eyes are blind. You have to look with the heart. If you want to build a boat, do not instruct the men to saw wood, stitch the sails, prepare the tools, and organize the work, but make them long for setting sail and travel to distant lands. True love begins when nothing is looked for in return. I am who I am, and I have the need to be. When you give yourself, you receive more than you give. When one is building a ship, one does not begin with gathering timber and cutting planks, but rather by arousing in people the yearning for the great wide sea. Let your dream devour your life, not your life devour your dream. The arms of love encompass you with your present, your past, your future. The arms of love gather you together. The essential is invisible to the eyes. I know but one freedom, and that is the freedom of the mind. Only the unknown frightens men, but once a man has faced the unknown, that terror becomes the known. You're beautiful, but you're empty. No one could die for you. And the fox said to the little prince, men have forgotten this truth, but you must not forget it. You become responsible, forever, for what you have tamed. To live is to be slowly born. True love is visible not to the eyes, but to the heart, for eyes may be deceived. It is in your act that you exist, not in your body. Your act is yourself, and there is no other you. If you love a flower that lives on a star, it is sweet to look at the sky at night. All the stars are abloom with flowers. Once you are my friend, I am responsible for you. It is such a mysterious place, the land of tears. The thing that is important is the thing that is not seen. That is the hardest thing of all. It is much harder to judge yourself than to judge others. If you succeed in judging yourself, it's because you're truly a wise man. It is not for us to forecast the future, but to shape it. I remembered the fox. One runs the risk of crying a bit if one allows oneself to be tamed. I have no right to say or do anything that diminishes a man in his own eyes. What matters is not what I think of him, but what he thinks of himself. Hurting a man in his dignity is a crime. Tell me who admires and loves you, and I will tell you who you are. Living is being born slowly. It would be a little too easy if we could borrow ready-made souls. To forget a friend is sad. Not everyone has had a friend. Language is the source of misunderstandings. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it is tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to them. Straight ahead you can't go very far. In every crowd are certain persons who seem just like the rest, yet they bear amazing messages. Intelligence is not creative, judgment is not creative. If a sculptor is nothing but skill and mind, his hands will be without genius. I was too young to know how to love her. Well, I must endure the presence of a few caterpillars if I wish to become acquainted with the butterflies. You cannot plant an acorn in the morning and expect that afternoon to sit in the shade of an oak. But if you come at just any time, I shall never know at what hour my heart is to be ready to greet you. I have always loved the desert. One sits down on a desert sand dune, sees nothing, hears nothing. Yet through the silence something throbs and gleams. What does tamed mean? It's something that's been too often neglected. It means to create ties. I fly because it releases my mind from the tyranny of petty things. To become a man is to be responsible, to be ashamed of miseries that you did not cause. Life has meaning only if one barters it day by day for something other than itself. In giving you are throwing a bridge across the chasm of your solitude. I have always learned to distinguish the important from the urgent. No individual is isolated. He who is sad saddens others. You see, one loves the sunset when one is so sad. True happiness comes from the joy of deeds well done, the zest of creating things new. We live not by things, but by the meaning of things. It is needful to transmit the passwords from generation to generation.